Have you ever wondered why the area surrounding the Eiffel Tower is named after the Roman god of war? Join me as we tour the Eiffel Tower, unveiling its mysteries and everything you need to know to plan your visit. The Eiffel Tower doesn't need an introduction. It's so iconic that it would be hard to find someone who's never heard of it before. Towering over the skies of Paris since the 19th century, it's probably the best-loved monument in the entire world. It's so iconic that many cities have tried to copy it without ever coming close to the elegance of the original. Offering a bird's-eye view of Paris from up top, you can observe the Seine running through the city like blood running through the city's arteries. Even after living such a long time in Paris, I personally still get breathtaken whenever I catch a glimpse of it. The Eiffel Tower is on every Paris visitor's bucket list, but what do you need to know to plan your visit? This is what we'll be going over today. Later in the video, we'll also reveal a dark historical secret lying under the tower, linking it to the Roman god of war. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to this channel to never miss any future uploads. Built for the Universal Exhibition of 1889, the Eiffel Tower was the tallest construction in the world when it was erected. Designed by the renowned engineer Gustave Eiffel, who lent his name to the monument, the project began in 1884 with his bold declaration that France would be the only country with a 300-meter flagpole. From the outset, the tower faced fierce critics and opposition from artists and writers who decried it as a useless and monstrous eyesore that would ruin Paris's beauty. Isn't that funny? Even after its construction, plans to dismantle it persisted for decades. Its salvation came from Gustave Eiffel himself, who set up all sorts of scientific experiments atop the tower. He built, for example, a huge antenna on top of it, which became vital for French radio, cementing the tower's place in the Parisian skies. Who said radio saved the Iron Star? The rest is history. Now let's talk about planning your visit. The first thing you need to know before anything is that securing tickets can be very challenging if you don't book in advance. Tickets go on sale 3 months in advance on the official Eiffel Tower's website, and there are 2 types of tickets: tickets for the second floor and tickets granting you access to the summit. If you want to access the summit, you will want to book at least 2 months, if not 3, in advance. In recent years, bots have been programmed, unfortunately, to buy up most of the tickets as soon as they're released, allowing resellers to sell them for a profit. Because of this, tickets often sell out within hours, making advanced planning essential. You do have the option of standing in line, of course, for a ticket at the Eiffel Tower itself, if you so wish on the day of your visit, but queues are usually extremely long, so I would really recommend against trying. A ticket to the summit costs approximately 32 euros per adult, and all tickets are time restricted. To access the Eiffel Tower, I'd recommend using the subway. The nearest subway stations are Bir Hakeim, Champ de Mars, and École Militaire. You will need to show up 20 minutes in advance of your allotted time for your visit due to security checks, so make sure to keep this in mind. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to leave me a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel for more travel insights into France and Japan. After passing security checks, you will go up the tower's elevator. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to reach the summit from the ground floor. Along the way, each level offers something unique. On the first floor, you will find a museum, a gift shop, and even a post office where you can find postcards and send them with a special Eiffel Tower stamp. The second floor houses another gift shop. And at level 3, you can observe Gustave Eiffel's old sitting room. I have to say the view is quite breathtaking. So take your time to explore each floor and soak in the different perspectives of Paris. Ironically, us Parisians, we really don't get to climb all the way up very often due to the difficulty to get tickets, the expensive price tag, and also kind of a desire to escape the crowds of tourists. However, standing here high above the sky, high above the city, Paris seems so small and peaceful. It's truly a privilege to be able to stand in this place. After enjoying the view, you may feel hungry. The good news is that there are 2 restaurants located inside the Eiffel Tower. On the second floor, you will find Madame Brasserie, which offers casual dining options. However, don't let the name fool you. Prices are steep here, starting from 100 euros per person for lunch. At the top of the Eiffel Tower, you will find the second restaurant, the Jules Verne. With its 2 Michelin stars, the restaurant has quickly become a landmark in the fine dining scene in the city. I had dinner here about a year ago, and it's probably one of my most memorable experiences in my life. The view was really unique, and the food was a sensory journey. I made a video about the experience, so if you're interested to learn more about this restaurant, I will link to my video in the top right corner above. For another dining idea, I recommend booking a lunch or dinner cruise on the Seine. All the cruise lines depart from the foot of the Eiffel Tower. There is a Bateau Parisien or Ducasse sur Seine for a more high-end experience. A few months ago, I tried Ducasse sur Seine and I loved it, so I really highly recommend you try it out. The food was really delicious. Every time I visited the Eiffel Tower in the past, I wondered why the area surrounding it was called Champ de Mars. Mars is field in French. It always seemed to me like such a strange name that really puzzled me. I always wondered if it referred to the Romans or the planet Mars. For me, it was really confusing. Well, recently I read about it in a very fascinating book, and I want to share this story behind the name with you. To understand the origins of the name, you have to go back in time, a long time. A time when Paris was inhabited by the Parisi, and the city was named Lucotitia. For these Gallic people who settled here in the 3rd century before Christ, the Seine was a goddess named Sequana. The tribe coming up from up north settled here for the prosperous living conditions offered by Sequana, the Seine River. Indeed, the river offered them fish, water to grow their crops, but also a means of transportation. The Parisi navigated here and along the Seine in small boats, using the river as a lifeblood of their settlement. However, the original Paris was not located in central Paris. Research suggests that the Parisi's main settlement was actually in Nanterre, a modern-day suburb of Paris that you can see here on the map. This theory was confirmed in 2003 when construction work on a new highway in Nanterre unearthed the remains of ancient Lucotitia. Archaeologists discovered roads, wells, houses, a port, and even burial sites, offering fascinating glimpses into the city's ancient past. So what does this have to do with the Eiffel Tower, you'll ask? Well, I'm getting to it. In 52 before Christ, the Romans, looking to conquer new lands, set their sights on Lucotitia. Julius Caesar, determined to conquer Gaul and expand his Roman Empire, sent his trusted general, Titus Labienus, to Lucotitia. In response, the Parisi called upon their old chief, Camillus, to lead their defense. However, the Parisi were at a significant disadvantage. Unlike the well-equipped Roman legions, they didn't have armor, fought almost naked, and had yet to develop strong iron swords for battle. Their forces were poorly trained and ill-prepared to face such a formidable enemy. Yet the Parizi had one unexpected advantage: the swampy terrain surrounding the Seine. Unfamiliar with these challenging conditions, the Romans struggled to advance. Many soldiers drowned, and horses were trapped in mud. After this initial battle, the Romans were forced to retreat, giving the Parizi a brief but important victory. This was sadly a short reprieve for the Parizi. When Camillus heard that the Romans were marching towards Lucotitia once more, he had to make a desperate decision. He ordered for his city to be set on fire, believing that the waters of the goddess Sequana would protect his people. By the time the Romans arrived the next morning, all that was left of Lucotitia were ruined. The final battle was fought over a city that very sadly no longer existed. Outnumbered and ill-equipped, the Parizi stood little chance against the Roman legions. Their fragile swords split in two against the Romans' superior steels, and they were mercilessly cut down. Thousands of Parizi warriors perished that day, martyred in the defense of their homeland. Centuries later, in the 18th century, the site where this battle took place was renamed Champ de Mars, Mars's field, named after the Roman god of war. The land where the Eiffel Tower now stands was once the battleground where the first inhabitants of Paris fought and fell, resisting the Roman conquest thousands of years ago. This is why it's called the Field of War, a reminder of the sacrifices made on this very ground, and I found this absolutely fascinating. Even more surprising, the remains of the Parizi warriors, including Chief Camillus, who died in battle, are buried right here under the Eiffel Tower. Most visitors, and even many Parisians, are completely unaware of this. I'm not sure even Gustave Eiffel was aware of this when he chose the location to build his tower. But in many ways, the Eiffel Tower stands proud in the Parisian sky like a totem for the warriors of the past who gave their lives defending the city. The Eiffel Tower is much more than an architectural wonder. Its history is layered with fascinating stories you will discover if you dig a bit beyond the tourist souvenir. Perhaps that's also what keeps the appeal of the Eiffel Tower alive. And that's it for this video. I hope you found it insightful and that it will help you plan your next visit to Paris. And now I want to turn the conversation over to you. Do you have any other interesting anecdotes about the Eiffel Tower? Have you climbed all the way to the summit? Share your thoughts and experience in the comments section below so we can keep the conversation going. If you haven't done so already, please leave me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified every time I release a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.